Welcome back to Seville, Spain, sign of the opening round of THQ World Supercross GP. And as you just saw from that shot, it is an open air stadium and a big one. And unfortunately, it's been raining for about 4 days, which means the elements are going to play a big part in the winner of this race tonight. The Dirtworks crew did everything they could, had the track covered, and I got to tell you, I haven't seen it rain like this since Loretta Lynn's.
The Dirtworks guys did a great job. Lots of obstacles like a typical Supercross. A couple triples, we got the finish line jump. The problem is there's so much mud, I don't know if the guys are going to be able to get a run into any of the jumps, and I don't know if it would be safe for them to go for it. We'll see what happens. They brought in tons and tons of sand to try to mix it in and make it so it's not as slick, but it's going to be tough out there. The start's going to be very key, and also where they're at on the track map now, they've actually taken that section out because it was basically underwater.
Taking a look at our starting grid for the first 250cc, the first 7 riders will advance to the main event. 31's Keith Johnson, 20 is Damon Huffman, then Joe Aloff, 125 national champion Grant Langston, Ted Campbell, Steve Boniface, number 52 is Greg Schnell, Pierre Senac, Spain's own Manuel Rivas, Isaiah Johnson from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
It is going to be incredibly tough. As you can see from the mud right there, the Motor World guys kind of wrestle with it. When this board goes sideways, the gate can drop in any time after 5 seconds, and this is going to be exciting, a start of a new season and the mud.
Yeah, and already it's been a victim tonight. They've changed the format of these heat races. It's usually 8 laps, but they are going to go with just 5. Again, necessity is the mother of all invention. They've changed the format. The card goes sideways. There you see Damon Huffman. And there it is, the start of a new season. The riders racing down through the mud, and there you see Damon Huffman, number 20, and instead it's 71, Boyd Shane from Australia gets the whole shot. Right behind him, number 46, that's Daryl Hurley, and the KTM out front's already opened a little lead.
Well, he went for the double on the triple, and as you can see, it is very soft in between jumps. He also goes for the finish line jump, as you can see there. So we talk about it. Anything can happen, and it may just happen with a brand new winner, someone who we didn't expect to win, and right now we definitely didn't expect him to be leading this race.
Yeah, and again, they got Shane Boyd written down over here, but it might be Boyd Shane. Either way, he is out front and pulling away on the KTM already with a straightaway ahead. This guy's pretty impressive.
He is, and the start is so important here because of all the mud. You can see him going for jumps. It's so surprising to see how hard he is charging, and he's an unknown to us. I mean, this guy could be racing in the mud all the time at home, and you can see that is where the whoops would normally be on a Supercross track, the long whoop section. We have carnage all over the track, guys pushing motorcycles, but right now, this guy is looking like he is going for heat number 1, the win.
Look at that. He's almost done with the first lap, and Boyd is lapping people. You can see the yellow flag is out. Already some carnage down there. It's hard to tell who that is, but our leader remains Boyd from Australia. And there you see Keith Johnson, and Cameron, this is his second crash of the night.
It is. They had one single sight lap, as we saw, and Keith had a hard time on that. Now he's having a hard time. And also one thing you want to look for, if a rider, the leader having a problem, almost going down, but still negotiating and keeping moving forward. He has a whopping lead, so he's not going to have any problem as long as he keeps it on 2 wheels. But anything can happen. The motorcycle could break down. That mud can get anywhere, inside the throttle, inside the airbox. In fact, these guys have been doing a lot of surgery to their airboxes to try to keep the water and mud out.
Yeah, and sorry about the confusion about whether it's Shane Boyd or Boyd Shane. The FIM does things a little differently. I remember back in 1989, Trampas Parker won the 125cc world champion. For half the season, they thought his name was Parker Trampas just because of the way they do things. So there you see Shane Boyd out front on the KTM. Almost went down a couple times, but right now he's holding it up and a nice sized lead. Right now it's just a case of survival.
Daryl Hurley actually running in second, followed by Grant Langston. Those two will be advancing for sure. 4 riders moving on, and right now on the bubble position is Damon Huffman, and he's looking good out there.
Yeah, and you know, Steve Boniface is running 5th. Cameron, I saw Boniface running each of the last 3 days around the stadium. As it turns out, you know, he's a French rider. He's not too worried about the rain, out there training. Yellow flags out. Again, Shane Boyd having a little trouble, but he keeps it going, and that's everything right now, momentum.
These bikes gain so much weight when the mud sticks to them. The mud gets up underneath, sticks under the fenders. We're not just talking a couple pounds here, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever been walking across a muddy parking lot and mud sticks to your shoes, you know how it gets heavy fast. And the good thing is there's a lot of water actually on the course, which is keeping the mud from sticking a little bit. It's going to be a little bit looser that way.
Now, this is actually the first time it's not rained in Spain today. And I know some mechanics down there were talking earlier, they kind of wish it were raining. And that way it keeps some of the mud off the bikes. As you can see, the track is already changing. Shane Boyd comes around to complete another lap. He's making it look easy.
Amazing. He's looking at the sections before he goes for it.
Oh!
Wow. So how tough is it? Your leader of this first heat race. Now, here's the rule on that, just so you know. If you don't gain position on the track with other riders and you don't look like you're cutting the track on purpose, there will be no fine. No harm, no foul, they say. We'll have to wait to make sure that's how it works out, but that's the way it's looking from right here. And you can see number plates in the front, number plates on the side, very covered up. How do they score it? Well, they have electronic transponders built onto the motorcycles and onto the track, so as long as those don't fail, we're going to be okay.
Electronic devices, more like depth finders out there tonight. As you see, Shane Boyd, he's keeping it going, but Langston has now moved up into second ahead of Hurley, and Boyd is just got a nice line around this track.
He is, and you know, it's a mental attitude also that's going to help. Some of the riders, you know, they didn't want to ride. They were worried about the mud, and if you have a negative mental attitude, it's definitely going to hurt. This guy probably is thinking, hey, I've never raced, you know, the Supercross, and I can win. I have a shot. And here he is proving it right now. He's winning heat race over guys like Langston and Brown, and we're going to have to see who's going to make it through this heat. And you can see it's quite the quagmire out there.
Takes a look over his shoulder. Is the white flag? Well, it didn't come out. We thought it would come out there, probably be on the next lap. This time, boy, man, he almost went down on that jump again, but again, he just keeps it going. And you're right, Cameron. Sometimes when you see a mud race like this, you just need to approach it with positive thoughts. You can't go out there and think, oh man, I'm going to hate this, because there's a lot worse things to do than race motorcycles in the mud in Spain. And Shane Boyd is doing a pretty good job right now. By the way, we've been told this is the final lap. He didn't get the white flag. I think they had it confused with the caution flag. Shane Boyd is leading by almost a minute on the last lap of this first 250 heat race here in Seville, Spain.
So we may have found our mud specialist, so to speak. And the other reason why he might not have got the white flag is the guy doing the flagging may be a little confused because he's not sure how many laps is, can't see the numbers on the motorcycle. He doesn't have the benefit of the transponders. And also, as we mentioned, normally these heat races are 8 laps, and today they're 5.
And he's got a couple riders down right after that finish line jump, Cameron. Any official will tell you safety comes first. They'll get the scoring done later. But Shane Boyd, just a couple more jumps to go. I think the hard part's almost over. He takes a look up, and now he's just going to cruise around. You see the yellow flag out once again, slip sliding around, and that is going to be, no, it's the white flag this time. Shane Boyd takes the white flag, and they just pulled him off the side of the track.
Well, a little bit of confusion and pandemonium's all right, right?
He's going to go one more lap. Why not? He hasn't fallen to this point, so Shane Boyd, one more lap around. There you see the Australian. He's on a 2-stroke, by the way. I kind of thought a 4-stroke would be the bike of choice.
Well, you think of the traction that they deliver. But again, if you're an expert mud racer, Davey, you've grown up racing in the mud on the East Coast. You actually won the Blackwater in your class, and you know about racing in these conditions.
I was going to say, it was my brother Tim who won the Blackwater 100 in 1988, and he'll be the first to tell you that too. But there you see Shane Boyd making it look easy. This guy could ride some GNCC when he makes it to America, and maybe our third member of our team, Jamie Little, can find out later. He's got plans or sights set on America. Very impressive ride so far. Check that out. 2 riders helping each other try to get around this track. Again, it is tough out there, but hey, sometimes it rains.
And it could be a KTM sweep here. Second place right now, Grant Langston, your newly crowned outdoor national champion. So we'll see if he can hold together for second place. And there are people all over the course as we have our...
There's the checkered flag. All right.
Maybe a lap late.
Shane Boyd gets the checkered flag, and you know what? He just kept going, and that's exactly what you do. Boyd takes the win. Langston is our second place rider. He's still got a ways to go, though. Believe it or not, Boyd is taking another lap. For the second 250 heat, remember the top 7 riders will also go to the main event. Number 28 is Heath Voss. 43, Ryan Clark. Brian Mason is number 70. James Pavoni, number 64. MotorWorldRacing.com Suzuki rider Andrew Short is 32. Then Eric Vallejo, Honda factory rider Ernesto Fonseca, Jason Thomas from the Subway Motocross team, Spain's own Xavier Hernandez is number 68. Portugal's Hugo Santos, 69. Right now you were looking at Xavier Hernandez. Every time he goes up on the big screen here at Stadio Olimpico, the crowd gives a big cheer. And look how muddy they are. That's just the parade lap. The 32nd board is up, and there you see Ryan Clark, one of the top privateers in all of Supercross. He will be wearing number 43 in the 2004 version of THQ World Supercross GP. Now the card is sideways. The gate will drop, and heat number 2 is underway, and there they go. And right off the start, it looks like it's number 38. That's Jason Thomas, gets the whole shot. And coming in on the inside is Craig Anderson, number 30, a couple Honda 4-strokes, 1 and 2. And you can see the damage of those roofs, what they're doing to the guys behind him. Again, your leader is number 30, Craig Anderson. And and down in the second corner. I think that was 87. That's Jeff Gibson. A great start for him, but he went down. But Craig Anderson is your leader, and this is the second time, Cameron, that an Australian rider has been out front. Shane Boyd won the first heat, and now Ando is out front the second time.
Well, we saw him win, actually, on an outdoor nationals last year. He's no stranger to it. A new team, a new bike. And he looks like he's having some problems negotiating the section. And we saw a lot of riders on the sight lap having a hard time getting over this section, and they're really negotiating it carefully. The ruts are getting deep already after only one moto so far. This lap number 1 in moto number 2, and it is a mess out there.
And right there, that's John Sebastian Waugh, who just jumped past Craig Anderson. So now it's the Canadian champion, Waugh, out front. And again, Motorsports Outlet Hondas are 1 and 2. And look at that. That is just misery, but you got to keep moving forward. And there you see a couple guys getting stuck.
Waugh, as we call him, we actually call him JSR. I was talking to him before the races, and he said, hey, it rains in Canada all the time. And he was looking forward to the mud. He had a great attitude going into it. And I think it's going to pay off for him. And for sure, his experience in the mud is something that's working for him. And it's so tough with the numbers, and we're not sure who's leading where. There are bikes scattered all over the track already after almost one lap.
And coming up to the finish line is the new leader. Anderson has taken it over again. Craig Anderson back out front. J.S. Waugh having a little bit of problems there. 1 lap in the books. Heath Voss.
The leader is down.
Right there. Ando went down. Craig Anderson goes down now. Heath Voss is your new leader. Jason Thomas is second. And the Spaniard, Lozano, is holding on to 4th. And, man, you just got to stay up, don't you, Cameron?
You really do. And taking a look back, Ando it looked like he went in to negotiate the corner and maybe waited a little bit much in the front, started to get off the side. The ruts are so deep already. The mud is so tough to negotiate. And right now your leader, Heath Voss, he was runner-up in this series last year, and I know he'd love to win a championship.
Yeah, and Voss out front. You know, he's from Minnesota. Now he lives in Texas. Heath is no stranger to the elements. And right there you get a really good look at how bad the mud is. Your leader, Craig Anderson, or rather, I'm sorry, Heath Voss, just plowing his way through. Yellow flags everywhere. Guys stuck right there. You see that looked like J.S. Waugh, our leader earlier, on the side of the track. Voss is your leader. Again, the top 7 riders will qualify directly to the main event. As Cameron said at the top of the heat race, we've had a change in format for the second time. The top 7 riders will qualify out of the first heat and this heat. And also, again, it is a 5-lap race, not the customary 8, 5 laps. And there you see Anderson. He went down, he's back up, but he's got a little making up to do. But right now, he just wants to get in the top 7.
And the top 7 is where you have to be Polvoni, the man in 7th place on the bubble. He wants to continue making it through a different format. You can see, actually, if you look at the jumps, they look very tacky and nice. They were covered. And what happened is where the covers rolled down into the valleys in between the peaks as they may be, it became so deep with mud. The Dirtworks guys came out, did a great job just making the track rideable, but they did move it around, and there are some very deep spots, and that's what your leader looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
See Heath Voss, he's wearing that new No Fear gear. He'll be teamed with Ezra Lusk when they get back to the States, but right now, it's every man for himself as you see Voss get around some people that are stuck.
It's not very often you see something like that at a Supercross. I mean, it is ridiculously tough to ride through here. Guys, these are professional riders that are stuck in the mud at a Supercross.
I'll tell you what, they're going to earn their money tonight with $350,000 up for grabs and purses and point fund, THQ World Supercross GP. I think these guys will be able to afford some new clothes. So now the second place rider remains Alvaro Lozano. Again, he is the top foreign rider, or Spanish rider, I should say. And I don't know much about him, Cameron, but obviously it's just about staying up. As you see Heath Voss negotiating his way. And mind you, right there, you're seeing the backside of those jumps. You're not seeing what Heath sees as he approaches it. But
that picture right there tells a lot of stories right there. And we're only on the second moto here. Heath Voss getting out in front, a guy that's been making a charge and now moving into second place, Tyler Evans of the team ECC. And we'll see if he can make a move all the way up to Voss. You can see him coming into your picture there. So Tyler, one of the bigger guys in Supercross, and he able to muscle the bike around, as is Heath Voss. Neither one of them are small guys carrying some upper body strength. And that may be one of the things it's going to take here. And you can see Tyler's got, you might say, hey, his mud deflector's falling off there. Those are actually homemade by the mechanics. They weren't prepared for mud totally. They built those out of cardboard and duct tape.
Well, I'm pretty, oh, right there you see, top of your picture, Evans had a little bobble. Voss continues to lead. Funny thing about Tyler Evans, he wrecked on the parade lap, didn't he?
Tyler definitely, he went for the triple, or the double on the triple in the parade lap, and he landed into the face of that jump, and it was tough.
So you have Heath Voss out front, Tyler Evans is second, and your third place rider, Alvaro Lozano. So Voss continues to negotiate his way around the track. Evans was getting closer, but then he bobbled just a little bit, and Voss was able to get away. But right now, they're both going to qualify for the main event. Cameron, with 1 lap to go, is this the point you start thinking, I'm just going to rescue this bike, I'm just going to save it for the main event?
Well, for me, I would say you have to rescue the bike all the way through. You got to try to keep the mud out of the places you don't want it, and that's by not falling over, not staying right behind someone's going to make it easier. But you definitely want to keep it safe. And one thing you got to watch out for when you're passing lappers or other riders or guys just roosting, getting a lot of mud in that radiator could cause a problem. So we see another rider falling over, and the guys are trying their best to negotiate these sections.
Tell you what, I know they talk about extreme sports a lot, but this is about the most extreme Supercross I think I have ever seen. Heath Voss, your leader in the second heat. Tyler Evans, right there. You see those mud guards Cameron was talking about hanging out in the front there.
And that's a pass for the lead, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, we can't see the numbers here, and these guys are actually battling for first and second place, if those are the guys. I mean, the numbers are the question, and that looks like Heath Voss for sure, and he is now chasing Tyler Evans. So Evans making the move to the lead, the big, strong guy, and will it pay off for him? And he actually moved out and blocked the line on another rider.
So right there, you see Voss, he's second, and right in front of him is Tyler Evans. So Tyler Evans will take the win, and here's Heath Voss crossing the finish line for second place. He gets the checkered flag. He may have lost that one. He will go to the main event, and Alvaro Lozano holds on to third. James Polvoni will be fourth. Then we've got Clark Stiles, Jeff Gibson, Craig Anderson, the early leader, hangs on. And if you're wondering where Ernesto Fonseca is, he is stuck. Now it's time for the 250cc last chance qualifier. Again, a big change of plans. The top 6 will advance to the main event, and also it'll be just 4 laps. And at the top of the list right there, you see Mike Brown, number 3, former 125 national champion, riding a YZ250 for Yamaha Troy. Jason Thomas for the Subway Honda team. Manuel Rivas, Ryan Clark, Keith Johnson is back out there after Bobby J got his bike off the track. And then you have Vallejo, Schnell, Campbell, Santos, Hernandez, Garrido, Tiger Lacey, and of course Ernesto Fonseca. Right next to him, Andrew Short. Cameron, a lot of fast guys in this race, but you know, it's not a race of speed now, is it?
It's a race of survival, and Ernesto Fonseca did not finish in his heat race, neither did Andrew Short, and I understand that Ernesto Fonseca just did, his mechanic Kenny just did a rapid clutch change down to the pit, so hard on those 2-stroke motorcycles, feathering the clutch, so maybe another reason why maybe the 4-strokes may have an advantage here.
And here we go, and it looks like Ryan Clark off to a fast start, Greg Schnell on the inside, and John Sebastian Wall stalled. He's left back in the first turn. There is Schnell, Jason Thomas, C number 74.
That's Eric Vallejo right there.
Eric Vallejo back up. So look at that. Oh, off the side, almost in the hay bales is Vallejo. So Schnell is the leader. They come around, you see they've laid some hay down, try and help the riders get traction. They're careful, it's gonna get too tacky. There you see Mike Brown on the outside, and oh, Jason Thomas comes off the side just a little bit. And looking back is our leader, just barely holding on to the bike, Greg Schnell. He's from Rancho Cucamonga, Cameron. In California, they don't have a lot of mud races.
Definitely not. It never gets even as cold as it is out here. Let me point something else out. You talk about the hay, we can see it flying all over the place. One thing the hay does do, it's going to suck up some of the moisture, give a little more tack, but they can't see the ruts that are under the hay. So they may go for a line, and all of a sudden they're going left and right without knowing it. That's because they can't see the line under there.
There you see Thomas and Brown battling for third. Ernesto Fonseca, the Honda factory rider, like you were saying, Cameron, had a DNF with that clutch going out. They are your top 4, and again, 6 riders will make it, not 2. 6 will make it. It is a 4-lap last chance qualifier, and that's Fonseca, and he almost got it stuck. There you see him pushing it along, and you know what? Cameron, that might be it. He is fooling with the clutch. Ernesto Fonseca, dead stop on the side of the track, and I think that is going to be it for Ricky Carmichael's teammate.
Well, a tough day for the Honda guys here at the opening round. Ricky Carmichael injured, not able to be here. Fonseca having, well, clutch problems in the first moto. We're not sure in the second moto. He may be just being a little tentative with the clutch and maybe thinking he's going to push it out instead of burning the clutch. We see him moving again. Oh, it's falling over. This has been a tough day for Ernesto Fonseca. Down right now, Schnell is leading Mike Brown and Greg Schnell, another guy that he's been around Supercross. He's got a lot of skill. You mentioned where he's from. He's good friends with Tyler Evans, who he just saw win a heat race. He's like, hey, I can win something out here. He has the confidence, obviously, and he's being chased down right now by Brownie, though.
But right now, it's not really going to matter who wins the race. The key is to get in the top 6, and as it stands, it's Greg Schnell, Mike Brown, Jason Thomas, Eric Vallejo. John Sebastian Wall was able to recover from that bad start. He is up to 5th, and Garrido, number 44, is in 6th.
Davey, with the amount of carnage we can see on the track right there, you see Greg Schnell getting through some riders, and will 6 guys finish this last chance qualifier?
That's why it's down to 4 laps for sure. And man, just a tough night, but hey, that's motocross. You caught a glimpse of Fonseca, I think, sitting there on the side of the track again. Now here comes Schnell, and look at that. You're seeing a backside. That's what the riders are looking at. Usually that's a set of stadium whoops, and these U.S. Supercross stars just fly through them and hammer them. Right there, it doesn't look too bad, but remember, you're looking at the backside, and there you look at the landing off the jump, and it's getting rutted out, and it's getting tackier.
That's normally where we see the guys pulling a tear off that triple 70 feet, but not today. very few guys even electing to double. And you can see the ruts as Schnell goes around the corner. Look at him going backwards down the start gate. The way the track is laid out here, it's amazing how deep the ruts are. The pegs are dragging. You can also see Schnell's running a rag on the side of his, out of the side of his pants, and that's to wipe his hands if he falls off, something Jean-Michael Bale used to do, kind of one of his trademarks. So these guys using any trick they can. Look how long his visor is. That's duct tape and cardboard, pushing out there a little extra. What that does is they can look down and try to keep the roost out of their face and maybe keep the mud from rolling down. You can also see some extra help there on the 52 bike. He has some duct tape going across in front of his radiator guard, so not to pack the mud in there. Actually, a couple of bikes have that out there.
I tell you what, I would have loved to have seen Jean-Michel Bale go out there and ride in a mud race like this, and uh-oh, that is not steam coming off the bike. It looks like he's got a problem. That might be radiator fluid.
Well, what happens, Davey, when the bikes get hot and they start to overheat, the coolant comes out the top of the radiator but goes out the bottom of the bike through the hose, so that's where you're going to see it. Look at this, a dejected, tough day. This is Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark is done.
One of the top privateers in the sport, a great guy, contributor to your magazine, Racer X, and he really was looking forward to some good results. He wants to try to get as high up in the points as he can, and it doesn't look like today's going to be his day, but this guy's having a great day. Greg Schnell, front number plate clean, passing people, lapping people. He's just, I mean, he's counting the seconds for that checker flag to come out.
That's the biggest problem he's had all night. It's Mesquine right there roosting him. But Greg Schnell, or rather I should say the biggest problem he's had in the last chance qualifier, obviously had some big problems in the heat race, wouldn't be out there. But Greg Schnell got a good start. We've been seeing that all night long, both heat races. Whoever gets the start now, the last chance qualifier, that means everything, and it's going to mean everything in the main event.
Well, the guy on the move has been John Sebastian Waugh. He is moving up to third place, and we still follow with our leader here trying to negotiate his way around the course. The yellow flags, caution. You can see now that the hay has been broken up, you can see how deep the ruts are underneath there, and you're lucky just to be able to get through this. You know, when you're riding home for fun in the mud, you get going, you ride the mud a little bit, you'll stop, clean your goggles. These guys have no opportunity to stop, and remember the extra weight they're carrying. This is tough on them, and also Greg Schnell's one of the larger riders out there. He's definitely got some bulk. We talked about that with Tyler Evans. Greg doing a great job right now.
Very good job for Schnell. He is your leader on the YZ250 Yamaha. Mike Brown is second. JS Waugh is up to third. Eric Vallejo holds on to fourth. Jason Thomas is in fifth. And check it out, we're on the last lap, and Andrew Short is in sixth place. The winner of the 125 East-West Shootout, Andrew Short, trying to hold on as Greg Schnell negotiates one more jump. Just a small amount of dirt, and there's your winner.
That's a different look for the finish line. He gets the one hand up after he rolls over the landing, or what would have been the landing. They've actually chopped it down now and pushed it forward to try to clean up some of the muck out there. And there's Brownie. We talked about the radiator guards. Dave, this is too much.
Yeah, I tell you what Greg Schnell just did, I would refer to as ground tricks. So there you have it, the Thor 250cc last chance qualifier. Greg Schnell's our winner. Mike Brown, John Sebastian Waugh, Jason Thomas, Eric Vallejo, and last but not least in sixth is Andrew Short. Well, this is what it all comes down to. The main event, THQ World Supercross GP. Taking a look at our starting lineup. Shane Boyd, the biggest surprise so far. Tyler Evans, the Meadow Militia man, has made it to the starting gate. Grant Langston's down there. Heath Voss, Steve Boniface, the Spaniard Lozano, Jeremiah Israel, James Polvoni, the Kiwi, Daryl Hurley, and Clark Stiles of the Moto Triple X team on the starting gate. Has it gotten any better down there, Cameron?
It looks pretty murky down there, and I like the Alabama Slammers chance, by the way. Clark Stiles and Joe Aloff, Gibson, Huffman, who we thought he's the only guy that's ever won a 250 main event. Maybe he's got some experience that'll pay off here in the 8 laps.
And then you got Craig Anderson, Greg Schnell, Mike Brown, John Sebastian Waugh, Jason Thomas, Eric Vallejo, and rounding out the field is Andrew Short, number 32. The 30-second board is now up. The 30-second board is now up. Everyone has passed on the chance to to do a sighting lap. There you see Grant Langston. He's all clean right now, but that's not going to last long if he doesn't get out of the starting gate. Tyler Evans right there on the starting gate next to Heath Boss. And there's Mike Brown. Look at all that extra protection.
The duct tape blocking off so he doesn't get roosted in the face, and a little bit of clutch adjustment there. You see the guys, when they roll their hand there on the left side of the bike, they're adjusting their clutches. And this should be an exciting start. There is a lot of mud. It's going to be hard to stop in the first corner, but it pays to hold the gas on. The longer you hold on, the better shot at getting there first. And here we go.
Cart is sideways any second now. The gate will drop, and there they go. And it looks like Tyler Evans right up the middle. And a big pile up in the first turn, and Mike Brown is out front. I think Tyler Evans went down. Half of the pack went down. Mike Brown is now your leader. And look, there you see, that looks like Steve Boniface is right there. John Sebastian Waugh is right there. And I'm not sure, but I think Shane Boyd may have also gone down.
And in second place right now, it looked like it was Joe Aloff. We're waiting to see those numbers. Lots of mud. He's on the 57 bike, and right now it's Mike Brown on the Boost Mobile Yamaha of Troy bike, leading this 250 main event, the first main event of the year.
Mike Brown, Daryl Hurley back in third. It looks like Craig Anderson. No, that might be Jeff Gibson, but still some riders getting pulled out of the muck in the first turn. But Mike Brown stayed clean, and this is what it's all about in these races, getting a start, but now he's got to keep it up, Cameron, for 8 laps.
This is when it gets tough. You got to run through these ruts, you got to pick your lines, and you got to stay on the gas, and that is Joe Aloff running in third place right now. His brother just recently returned from Iraq, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to do to get a podium for his brother. That's his first ever podium.
No doubt. Rick Aloff, 101st Airborne Rangers, back in America after a very long stint. Now, check out what happened. Boniface came down. He was on the inside. There you see Shane Boyd on the brakes, and down went 67 Sebastian Waugh.
The 71 bike on the inside grabbing a ton of front brake, and it's like riding in the sand. You don't grab your front brake. You're going to go over the handlebars, and that's precisely what happened. Locked up the wheel, went over the bars, but you know who doesn't care? Mike Brown. He doesn't care. He's looking at, look how slow he's negotiating that section. It is really tough riding out there right now. The top 3 riders have made a gap. There is a ways back before you get to 4th place, and Daryl Hurley currently running in 2nd place on the Motor World Suzuki, putting in a great ride. The Kiwi, as I said, he likes the mud, he's experienced the mud, but it's been a long time since he's raced in mud, and I don't know if he's ever raced in a quagmire like this.
Let's reset the playing field. Mike Brown is your leader. Daryl Hurley, Joe Aloff is in third, the Subway Motocross team. Tyler Evans, I thought that was him in the first turn and went down. It was not. Evans is 4th, and check it out. Shane Boyd apparently has climbed into 5th place already according to the electronic scoring.
Well, we saw Shane Boyd flying in heat race number 1, and one thing I want to point out, the difference between heat race 1 and this race is there weren't a lot of ruts on the course. Shane had basically a clean course. There had been one sighting lap before he got out there. Now it's going to be much tougher. We'll see if he can hold together. And right now, Daryl Hurley, you can see him having a bit of a tough go at some of those ruts. He's got his feet down. Maybe it's going to come down to who's got the biggest feet, because they're like skis out there. But Brownie right now from Tennessee, he looks like he's got it going on.
Mike Brown has never won a 250cc main event in Supercross. He's never won a 250 national. Got a handful of outdoor national wins. Of course, that championship from 2001 when he beat Grant Langston at Nail Biter at Steel City. A couple GP wins, but this is the best he's ever done on a 250. And now you see Damon Huffman coming up. I think Huffman was a lap rider.
Yep, Daryl Hurley giving him a little bit of a block pass as he goes by now. I'm sure Daryl's adrenaline is just rushing too. He wants to get by these lappers as quick as he can to try to keep Brown in his sights. And you see riders walking across the track. This is the main event, but there will be problems. Guys will get stuck, bikes will break. The mud is horrendous on the motorcycle and on the body. So we'll see if Brownie can hold it together. He is racing 250s all season long. He is committed.
So Mike Brown out front, another surprise on a night full of surprises. Daryl Hurley holds on to 2nd, and our 3rd place rider is now Tyler Evans. There you see Mike Brown sliding his way down through what used to be a whoop section. And check it out, here comes Daryl Hurley on the inside. Actually, I take it back, switches back, and there's a block pass. Hurley briefly took the lead, and just like that, he blew it, Cameron.
The adrenaline is flowing hard, and this guy, he wants a podium, but he says, hey, I can win, and he is trying to cross the lines. Now remember, going inside to out on a normal suit. Look at this, he's going for the pass and the whoops, and this is the triple face. They're gonna roll it, and Brownie stalls his motorcycle, pulling the starter out to get it going. Get Daryl Hurley, your leader right now.
Just like that, a change of fortune from Mike Brown, and now Daryl Hurley is the leader here in World Supercross GP from Seville, Spain. Just an unbelievable turn of events for Mike Brown. He didn't even fall down, Cameron. He just stalled, and he's on a 2-stroke.
A crazy day. Look at these lines, and the Motor World team giving the #1 to Daryl Hurley.
Daryl Hurley is your leader, but here is the big story. Shane Boyd, the winner of our first heat, has come from last place. He was involved in that first turn crash. Shane Boyd is now in second. Steve Boniface has moved up to third, and that's 3 international riders. The top American is Mike Brown in fourth. Joe Aloff is fifth. Evans has slipped back slightly. He is now in sixth. And Daryl Hurley tossed his goggles.
The vision's such a problem. They have tear-offs or roll-offs. Depending on your system, he's going to have to get around that down rider, but he likes to throw off the goggles. You can blink your eyes to keep your eyes clean, but after a while, that starts to hurt when you get mud in there, and you can see his bike blowing some steam out the bottom, and that's also dangerous. His bike could end up overheating. We'll see if it will last through to the finish here, but you know, all these bikes prepped great. They didn't have a lot of extra parts here, and Daryl's bike's been holding up great, so we'll see if he can pull it through all the way to the end of this race with lap number 3 of 8.
I tell you what, a huge purse tonight here in Spain. Whoever wins this thing better share some money with this mechanic.
The question is Shane Boyd pushing it? He's less than 7 seconds behind. Does Daryl Hurley know? I mean, he's playing it safe. If Shane Boyd comes up with a lot of speed and momentum, he'll fly right by Hurley. But the question is, will he be able to keep the bike on 2 wheels?
So there you see Daryl Hurley, and he has definitely slowed his momentum down somewhat. He's now got half the laps in the book. Now it becomes a question of survival. As you see, Damon Huffman, the Moto Triple X team, his main event here in Spain is now over. But out front, Hurley continues to lead the way on a Suzuki RM250.
The guys at Motor World got to be stoked right now. And, you know, we were all talking about his teammate, Andrew Short, being a player. And right now, it's definitely not looking that way.
There you see Hurley, and I'm not sure, but I think when we took our eyes off of Cameron, that Steve Boniface, number 42, Steve Boniface, is actually your new leader according to electronic scoring. Boniface out front on the number 42 Suzuki. Hurley is second. Mike Brown is third, and it looks like Shane Boyd is dropping way off the leaderboard. The Australian Shane Boyd had moved up to second. He is no longer in the top 10.
Langston running inside the top 10, as is Andrew Short. But right now, this race going on, this is Daryl Hurley having a hard time negotiating the whoops, and then Mike Brown.
Boyd is done. Boyd is off.
Boyd is off, and we now find out that it is in fact Hurley leading. A little bit of glitch there at the electronic scoring. Daryl Hurley is leading. There's Mike Brown. So let me reset the playing field. Hurley is the leader. Mike Brown is second. Boniface is third. Electronic scoring on a night like this, Cameron, anything can happen.
Well, it's crazy. You can't even see the numbers on the back of the jerseys. So the roost coming up, just a mess out there. Aloff right now in 4th place, so a solid run going for him. We'll see if he can hold together. And it's survival of the fittest, 5 laps of 8. When you say 8 laps in a main event, that's not much. These laps are grueling and rigorous. Daryl Hurley continuing to lead, bike smoking, feet off the pegs. Can the motorcycle keep going under this kind of abuse? That's the question, and there we see Steve Boniface making his way through the whoops with a lot of steam behind him.
He's got the exact same problem with his Suzuki that Hurley has. See that anti-freeze running out. The bike is steaming. Oh, and now Hurley is stuck.
It looked like Brown stopped and looked over at him as he went by. Oh, there's
there.
Brown right there. That was another Yamaha. this.
Mike Brown is back out front just like that. Hurley made a mistake. He did the same thing Mike Brown did. Cameron stalled.
These bikes are carrying a good 40 extra pounds of mud at this point, if not more. This is a struggle to get through the ruts deep. When you get in these ruts too, the other thing you gotta remember is these guys are used to using a lot of front brake, and they've got to be really careful in these conditions. You start getting into that front brake, you're gonna have problems and just swapping all over the place. Your body's getting tired, and whoa, it looks like
no. Mike Brown just came to a dead stop. Now here's where he made the pass on Hurley. Hurley came to a stop on the side of the jump, and now look at this. Mike Brown, your leader, he is trying to get the kill switch taken apart. He's twisting his clutch out. The bike is running. I take it back. It's an old cross-country trick. You pull the electronics. Brown.
We talked about how they adjust the clutch on the front of the bike there, and you see Brownie trying to do it, and now it looks like Boniface is going to go to the lead, and
It's Hurley.
is that Hurley?
That's
Still
Hurley. He's
going.
back out front. Hurley is back out front. Mike Brown remains in second, but he is stopped on the track.
Hurley, Brown, Alof electronic scoring is telling us right now, and Daryl Hurley continuing to lead.
Daryl Hurley, your leader, and there are 2 laps to go in the main event. Daryl Hurley is a lap and a half away from making Supercross history. He could be the winner of the FIM THQ World Supercross GP from Seville, Spain. The second place rider is also on a Suzuki. That is Tyler Evans, the ECC Racing Suzuki team. He's also known as a very good freestyler with the Metal Militia. Grant Langston, the 125 national champion, has now moved up to third, and check it out. Andrew Short, the last rider to qualify for the main event, is now your 4th place rider. Mike Brown is at a dead stop. The Yamaha Troy rider had the lead. He is falling backwards in the standings. Voss is 5th. Boniface is 6th, and Mike Brown is now done. He is out of the race.
Bikes down. We're talking overheating, we're burning clutches, and the mud is going everywhere. Anything can happen at this point for a guy like Daryl Hurley. Tyler Evans right now in 2nd place, the ECC team rider, also riding for the Metal Militia, as Davey said, and this is an uncommon place for Tyler Evans to be. A strong guy, but usually he's running out of gas with his body because of his muscle mass. Tonight, it is helping him out. He is able to muscle the motorcycle around. These guys have to be getting nervous. They're looking at podiums in the 250cc class, and they've got to be thinking anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
There is your leader, Daryl Hurley. He is less than a lap away from a win that would rival Ricky Ryan's win of the '87 Daytona Supercross. Just a full-on survival run. He's almost stuck in that corner. Look at the smoke coming out of that Arm 250, but he keeps it going. Tyler Evans is 12 seconds behind in 2nd place, and yet another Suzuki, Andrew Short, has now moved into 3rd. He is 15 seconds behind the leader. Grant Langston has dropped back to 4th. So this is what it comes down to. There's your leader, Hurley, and just out of the corner, there you see Tyler Evans up to 2nd, a half a lap to go. He's got to stay out of that rut.
And Short right behind him. You see Tyler having a hard time. He's decided to negotiate to the side. Here is all 3 of your leaders.
Oh, and
Evans
Tyler
is down.
Tyler
Hurley
Evans
continuing.
Tyler Evans went down. You see the bike smoking. Hurley is still there. Now the question is, can Andrew Short catch the leader? Now all Hurley has to do is just keep going straight.
Which is definitely easier said than done.
That sure is.
Passing guys that are stuck. He has done a phenomenal job keeping this motorcycle going. We saw a couple points where he actually stopped. He probably is thinking about what he's doing, and right now going over what would be a triple jump, but today is just a tough obstacle to ride through, and he has one more corner, and then he is going for the checkered flag.
Daryl Hurley is about to join Chad Reed in the record books as an Australian rider, or rather the first New Zealand rider to win. Chad Reed from Australia, and now it's New Zealand's Hurley with the win. He takes the checkered flag here in Seville, Spain, and throws his bike down. Paul Lindsay, the MotorRacing.com Suzuki team manager, gives him a hug, and it looks like it's going to be Tyler. No, I'm sorry, it looks like Grant Langston has moved up to take second. You see Grant Langston in the middle of your picture, and there's Tyler Evans rounding out the top three. Holy smokes, Cameron, that was a tough race even for us.
It was just tough to see for us. I can't imagine what those guys are going through. Daryl Hurley's excited, throwing around the Motor World mechanics. They're going to jump around in the mud. Grant Langston, a rider we thought had a chance to win this event. We talked a lot about him. He comes through with a second place at podium, but Hurley the winner and Evans is in third place. Those are two guys that needed the mud. They weren't guys we were looking at up front, and the mud helped them out. The great equalizer, Davey. A great opening heat race for Boyd. He's going to end up in the main event in 16th place, Davey.
So Daryl Hurley is your winner. Grant Langston is second. There you see team manager Larry Brooks standing behind Langston. Tyler Evans ended up a career best third. Heath Voss was fourth. There you see the Honda results of THQ World Supercross GP. Again, the Suzuki of Daryl Hurley out front. Grant Langston, Tyler Evans, Heath Voss, Steve Boniface, James Pavoni, Andrew Short in seventh. Adrian Lozano, the top Spaniard, in eighth. Clark Stiles takes ninth. Subway Motocross's Joe Aloff had a great start, but he ends up 10th. And Cameron, I got to tell you, it's probably a career best in 250cc racing for almost every guy we just saw on that list.
To tell you the truth, no, I didn't. You know, it's been tough coming here to the States. You know, I had a few injuries at the start of the year, and then also in the outdoor nationals, and you know, I've just been working real hard. And you know, I was only coming over here to get time on the bike before Anaheim because I've been off for 4 months with the foot injuries from Washougal. So, man, I can't believe it, you know, to win this race. And I know it's muddy, and you know, there's a lot of guys not here, but you know, it was really tough, and I just put my head down and got a good start, and that was pretty much it.
It was chaos. I did a forward somersault down the side straight away. I didn't even get to the first turn. I went to grab a tear off on the inside, and my front end tucked, and I had one hand off the handlebar, and I did a forward somersault over the handlebar. So I was 20th for sure, and then I crashed almost every lap, I think. And my pit crew were giving me 4, 5, 7, 5, and then eventually the last lap I rode a really good last lap because I was 5th at the beginning of the last lap, and I remember passing a couple of guys, and I think I may have got 3rd, and then they're all 2nd. So I was like, wow, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's all right. I was having some problems with the clutch, but I was chasing down Hurley for the lead, and I went down, so Langston got me. I got 3rd, so I'm pumped, whatever. Won the heat and then got 3rd in the main, so rock on.
Taking a look at our THQ World Supercross GP standings after one round. The main event winner, Dale Hurley, he is your points leader. Grant Langston, Tyler Evans, Heath Voss, and Steve Boniface round out the top 5. You have James Pavoni, Alvaro Lozano, the highest placing Spaniard, runs 7th. You see Craig Anderson down there in 12th, and Mike Brown, the big heartbreak tonight. He was leading, but he ends up 13th and on the side of the track. Make sure you join us next week for the second round THQ World Supercross GP. This time it'll be from Arnhem, Holland, and I guarantee you that it is going to be dry because it's a domed stadium. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Jamie Little and Cameron Steele, I'm Davey Coombs saying so long.